Yee! Alright, so Charlie Chaplin is one of my favorite actor, director, whatever. One of my favorite filmmakers. Um, and maybe one day I should talk about more of his movies. I've talked about City Lights. I'm definitely got to talk about Modern Times sometimes because that is my favorite. The Great Dictator is great. The Kid is really good. Um, every Charlie Chaplin movie I've seen, I've loved. They're just such great movies. And today we're talking about The Gold Rush. Now, the first time I saw this, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I thought some of the other ones were a little bit better, and I still would have to put this one lower on my list of favorite Charlie Chaplin movies, but it's still way up there in just favorite movies because it's so good. But it's lower on the Chaplin list because all of his other movies are so good. It's hard, you know. But this movie is really great. So it's about a prospector who goes out during the gold rush in Alaska in the late 1800s, and he's kind of just up there. He does some stuff, and he meets this girl basically, and Charlie Chaplin is just so good in everything. I mean, the tramp character is one of the greatest characters of all time. I really love this character because he's very smart, but yet he's kind of a goofball too. And then he's a great person. Like, you can tell he's a great person, like with a heart of gold, Gold Rush. But yet he has, his flaws. He's not like a perfect person. He, like in some of the other movies, he like, you know, like in The Kid, he breaks windows. No, he has a little kid go break windows, and then he sells, glass to fix the windows, stuff like that. But yeah, but yet, I'm just gonna use The Kid again as an example. He's still like, basically adopts this kid and like, but we're not talking about that movie anyway. But yeah, the Charlie Chaplin character is just the tramp character is just, very enjoyable to watch in anything. And yeah. Now, one thing I also really like about Chaplin's movies is the way the stories go, because in a lot of other silent films, I really enjoy like The General or Safety Last was really good. I really enjoyed those movies, but the plot, like how the story goes, it's usually just they're kind of sitting around one place doing things for a while, and then maybe they'll move on to something else, and they're just kind of like get from point A to point B, or just there is no point, just things are kind of happening, and then something kind of happens. This movie, the story is always moving. It's always moving forward. It's always going somewhere. Because after like the first, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, but then he goes to town. He meets this girl. Their whole relationship, it moves forward, and then the one prospector's like, we gotta go find the mountain. It's hard to explain, but I like how the story was structured, I guess, is what I can say. I don't know if I'm making any sense today, because it's hard to explain why I like this movie. And yeah. Now, I liked the love story in this movie because it wasn't just like a typical thing. Like, for most of the movie, the girl doesn't even really like Charlie Chaplin. She's more just playing games with him. The only thing about it, though, like, I don't quite get is the end. Like, it's the whole movie, it didn't seem like she really, really liked him. But at the end, they get together. So that the part's a little confusing. But I think what is happening is she uh, she likes him, but she doesn't want everyone else to really know about that, and because she's kind of with this one guy, and they're more fancy people, and he's kind of just this bum. But I feel like even though she's making fun of him and kind of just playing games with him for the most part, she still actually cares about him deep down, something like that. But another thing about this movie that I thought was really good is the production to it was really good. Like, you could tell this was a big budget movie for the time. Like, all the sets are really good looking. Like, it doesn't feel cheesy, and how they did the very end scene where their house is like, not the house, the cabin is like falling off the cliff, I thought was done really well. But yeah, this movie is really interesting though, because I just found out that in 1942 they re-released it, and they put in audio, and they kind of modernized it for the 40s, because at that time no one cared about silent movies, so they kind of tried to remarket it to people, and they kind of almost lost. They lost the 1925 version, which was just a normal silent film, and in the 90s, before then, the only version people saw was the 42 version, which to me looked like it would be very irritating to watch, because it's kind of got like a commentary to it, like a narrator, and that would be very annoying. But people, like in the 90s, they actually went back, they found as much as they could and put together what they could, the closest version to the 1925 version. So that is, I thought that was kind of interesting, but absolutely I loved this movie, very much. Not as much as some of the other ones. Yeah, so I'd have to give this like maybe my third or fourth favorite Chaplin. What else? I was gonna say something, but I forgot. I don't know. I'm gonna give it like an 8.9. Just not quite a 9, but it's very close. I think most people, even if you don't like silent films, I think most people like Charlie Chaplin movies, because they're done really well. If I have had to recommend one, though, I'd recommend Modern Times, and then probably The Kid or City Lights, and then this one. But it's really good though. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.